Mahalakshmi, bestower of success and intelligence, worldly enjoyment and liberation. I bow down to you, O goddess, whose form is the mystic syllable. For most Hindu families today, Lakshmi is the goddess of the household. The scriptures describe her as the goddess of prosperity, splendor, luminosity, and fortune. Her auspicious nature and reputation for granting fertility, good fortune, wealth, and well-being attract devotees in every Indian village. Although there are very few temples dedicated to her worship alone, she is often seen on altars standing by the side of Vishnu. According to the Vedas, Lakshmi accompanies Vishnu as his companion whenever he incarnates within the world. Her name's likeliness and symbols are seen on the doors, walls, pillars of temples everywhere. No matter which deity that shrine might be dedicated, you will find Lakshmi. Lakshmi Devi is worshipped throughout the year in a variety of festivals and is the object of many religious vows through which her blessings are sought. A devotee may undertake a fast or some other act on Lakshmi's behalf, asking for a blessing such as a long life for a spouse, or perhaps for the fertility of crops. Lakshmi also symbolizes wealth, and businessmen will worship their account books on days associated with her in the belief that it is she upon whom their prosperity depends. Goddess Lakshmi is depicted as a beautiful woman standing on a blooming lotus flower. Gold coins cascade from one of her 4 hands. In fact, the word Lakshmi is often used as a synonym for money or wealth among Hindus. In another hand, she holds a lotus bud, symbolizing purity, fertility, and beauty. Her 4 hands are also said to represent the 4 great aims of life described in the Vedas, namely Dharma, which is religion, Artha, which is economic gain, Kama, material pleasure, and Moksha, liberation. She generally wears opulent red robes lined with gold, the red color symbolizing activity and the gold prosperity, the latter arising from the former. Lakshmi is also commonly associated with kings, and in this connection is known as Raja Lakshmi, or royal opulence. The Artha Shastra, the ancient Indian treatise on politics, considers the monarch to be a representative of the divine, virtually an incarnation of God, and thus he too has the goddess of fortune as his consort. However, such a ruler is strongly enjoined to ensure that his godly opulence is properly used in divine service. Otherwise, it may well leave him. Another epithet frequently used for Lakshmi is Chanchala, which means fickle, as she does not stay with anyone for long. This is especially the case when one tries to enjoy her, that is to say, wealth or opulence separately from her eternal consort Vishnu. She never leaves Vishnu. It is therefore said that no one trying to exploit her for selfish ends will ever succeed. The story of Lakshmi's appearance in this world begins with the petulant sage Durvasa, previously described in a story of Draupadi. Durvasa's curses and blessings are the catalyst for many a significant event in the world of gods and goddesses. One day, Durvasa was making his way along a heavenly pathway toward the capital city of gods. Amaravati, Lord Indra, swept past him on his mount, the celestial elephant, Airavata. On seeing the king of the gods going by, Durvasa offered him his neck garland, both as a sign of respect and blessing. "May all be well with the gods," he said as he held it out. Barely taking notice of the sage, who was clad in only a loincloth and dusty from his long travels, the mighty Indra disdainfully took the garland and tossed it over his elephant's trunk. Without so much as a word of thanks, he continued on his way. Still within eyeshot of the sage, the garland fell to the ground and was trampled under Airavata's feet. Durvasa's eyes turned red with anger. He immediately cursed Indra. "As you have been overcome by pride and arrogance, your fortune and opulence will abandon you." Indra turned and looked again at the sage, suddenly recognizing him as the very powerful and quick-tempered Durvasa. He realized that he had made a terrible mistake. He climbed down from his elephant and prostrated himself before Durvasa, saying, forgive me, pride stole my intelligence." Pacified by the apology, Durvasa said, "Having been uttered, this curse must come to pass. Even so, you will again recover your opulence when Vishnu favors you." The sage left, and Indra continued on to his capital. His power had already been tangibly diminished, and he appeared gloomy. His bodily luster reduced. It was not long before word of Durvasa's curse reached the demons. Rightly reckoning that their opportunity for conquest had arrived, the demon hordes led by Bali attacked Amaravati. They soon overpowered Indra and his armies and drove them from the heavens. Bali took his place upon Indra's throne, and Indra's consort, Swarga Lakshmi, disappeared. Miserable and dejected, Indra lived incognito for many years, while Bali ruled over the heavens. Finally, his spiritual master, Brihaspati, came to him and said, "It is time for you to recover your position. Seek the assistance of Brahma. He will know what to do." Indra went with Shiva and all the principal gods to Brahma's abode, located at the peak of the celestial Mount Sumeru. They bowed before him and informed him of their plight. "Lakshmi has deserted us, and we are without strength and power. Bali has now seized control of the heavens and taken away all our opulence. Great Lord, please help." The four-headed deity looked at them compassionately. "You have been overtaken by inexorable time and results of your own deeds. Under such circumstances, only the Supreme Lord Vishnu can help you." Taking his celestial retinue with him, Brahma then went to the sacred island, situated in a vast ocean of milk, where Vishnu resided. Standing on its shores, they began offering him prayers. After some time, pleased with their offerings, Vishnu appeared in a form as radiant as 1,000 suns. Though the gods shielded their eyes, they were at first completely blinded by his brilliance. Then, as they gradually regained their sight, they could make out Vishnu's wondrous form. His blackish body resembled the fabulous Marakata gem, known only in the heavens, and his eyes were reddish like the inner depths of a lotus. He wore garments that glowed like molten gold. A helmet bedecked with valuable jewels crowned his beautiful smiling face. By his side stood the goddess of fortune, and his weapons, which had taken human-like form, surrounded him. When Brahma and the other gods saw Vishnu, they all immediately fell to the ground, offering their prayers. Just as the earth is the support of all things that come from it and again enter it, so are you the support of all beings. Be pleased with us and grant our desire, which is surely well known to you. Vishnu, smiling, spoke to the assembled gods. His voice sounded like the rumbling of thunderclouds. Listen to me, for I am ever inclined to do good to the gods. Those who seek my shelter are never disappointed. First of all, you should all seek a truce with the demons who are now being favored by time. Then, with their assistance, you should churn the milk ocean. It will produce Amrita, a life-giving nectar that will restore your power. From this churning, the divine goddess of fortune will also make her appearance in the world. Vishnu told the gods that he would assist them in this cosmic endeavor. They would have to use Mount Bandara as the churning rod and Vasuki, the chief of the Nagas or celestial serpents, as the rope to turn the mountain. Vishnu continued to speak. Be patient, and the nectar will come. Before that, many other things will be produced by the churning, things that will attract the demons, but you should wait only for the nectar. Pleased to hear this, Indra then sent a message of peace to Bali. He told him what Vishnu had said. Your demons will profit from this endeavor, and you may also partake of the nectar when it is produced. Bali agreed to the proposal. The gods and demons then went to Mount Bandara, which was made of solid gold. Despite its great weight, they managed to uproot it from the earth by working cooperatively. They then began dragging it toward the milk ocean, but burdened under its mass, became fatigued and were unable to hold it up any longer. They dropped exhausted to the ground, and the mountain fell, crushing many of them to death. Taking pity upon their plight, Vishnu arrived on the back of his eagle carrier. With his healing glance, he brought the dead gods and demons back to life. Then, placing Mount Mandara on the back of his eagle, he carried it to the milk ocean himself. When Vasuki had securely wrapped himself around the mountain, the gods and demons each took one of his extremities and began pulling him back and forth, creating huge waves in the ocean. However, the mountain had no support, and it quickly sank beneath the surface. The gods and demons looked at one another in dismay. But once again, Vishnu came to their rescue, assuming the form of an immense turtle. He dove deeply into the celestial sea and raised the mountain onto his massive back. Once the mountain was resting firmly on the divine turtle's back, the churning began again in earnest. Its first product, however, was unexpected, a fearful poison known as hala hala. Seeing its toxic effects beginning to spread all around, the powerful Lord Shiva caught it up in his hand and swallowed it, saving the entire universe from destruction. Though Shiva's neck turned blue as a result of this, but he was otherwise unaffected. The churning continued. It produced many wondrous objects and creatures, all of which the greedy demons quickly seized. Then a beautiful woman, as brilliant as lightning, was seen to rise from the milky depths. This was Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Enchanted by her exquisite beauty, her youthfulness, her lustrous complexion, and her glorious effulgence, gods and demons alike were overcome with desire. Indra at once offered Lakshmi a place to sit. All the sacred rivers, such as the Ganga and Yamuna, appeared there in person with water in golden pots and offered it to Lakshmi. The sages performed a worship ceremony for her, while the heavenly singers chanted auspicious mantras and others danced and sang. The clouds in personified form accompanied the celestial chorus by beating various types of drums, blowing conch shells and bugles, and playing on flutes and stringed instruments. While this festive music resounded throughout the 10 directions, the ocean brought forth a silken garment for Lakshmi, and the god of waters, Varuna, presented her with celestial flower garlands. The goddess of learning, Saraswati, made a gift of a dazzling necklace, while Brahma offered her a lotus flower, and the celestial serpents known as Nagas gave her brilliant golden earrings. Goddess Lakshmi then began moving about, holding a garland of lotus flowers surrounded by humming bumblebees. Smiling shyly, the earrings dancing at the borders of her cheeks, her beauty was striking. Her rounded breasts were covered with sandalwood pulp, and red powder, and her waist seemed as thin as that of a wasp. As she walked back and forth, her ankle bells jingling softly, she appeared like a moving creeper vine of gold. Lakshmi carefully scrutinized the gods, demons, and inhabitants of all parts of the universe who were present there, but could not find anyone naturally endowed with all the good qualities she sought for in a husband. None of them was entirely devoid of faults, and therefore she could not abide with any of them. Searching for the greatest living being in existence, she thought, seems that one person may have undergone great austerity, and even acquired much mystic power, and yet been unable to conquer anger. Another person may possess great knowledge without having conquered material desire. Yet another may be a great personality, but unable to control his lust. Everyone in this world depends on something else. How then can any of them be the supreme being? Someone may possess full knowledge of religion, but still not be kind to all living entities. Someone else may possess great power, yet he cannot check the force of eternal time. And no one is free from the influence of material nature, which determines the individual qualities of all created beings. I think that only Vishnu can give shelter to all. Therefore, I select him alone as my Lord. Thinking in this way, Lakshmi approached Vishnu and placed the lotus garland on his shoulders. She stood by his side, looking down shyly. The gods were extremely pleased to see her united with Vishnu, and loudly praised the divine couple. Lakshmi then glanced over them mercifully, and they felt their former power and strength returning. O Mahalakshmi, bestower of success, intelligence, worldly enjoyment, and liberation, I bow down to you, O Goddess, whose form is the mystic syllable.